I love you, but, like, fuck you.
That's okay. I accepted this as a possibility.
What else would my reaction be? You know the
I
type
don't
of
know.
I am.
You ready to talk about this shit?
No.
Alright. Hello, welcome to a Fish and Flower podcast. I'm Flower, aka Rose, and my fun fact of the day is I'm gonna try to make this go fast, despite how long my notes are. Because I'm sitting on the ground.
Why are you sitting on the ground? I know you said you're doing your sheet, but
Yeah, I'm doing my sheets, and then my nice chair has a bunch of books in it right now.
girl,
And yeah.
put the books on the floor. I don't know.
I'm not putting the books on the floor, that's rude to the books. I'll put my ass on the floor.
All the time. You said Utah. I was like, what are you on about?
Remember that time I said a movie came out in 1999? That's the same year I came out of my mother's vagina.
I need you to be quiet. My name is Sis, aka Stingray, and I'm just gonna do a rundown of what I did yesterday because it was fucking insane. I finished Bloodmarked first off, which is an insane feat by itself. I cleaned the whole entire bathroom, top to fucking bottom. Like, I was scrubbing that shit. Like, I mean scrubbing. Like, what the hell? Like, I don't know what the hell it was. I did all the dishes, like, 3 times. I cooked dinner. I made a cheesecake. I feel like this was it. I worked out. I did like 500 million things yesterday. It was crazy. I still didn't clean my fucking room. That's Sunday's job, but I skipped it because Sunday was meh. I'm very proud of myself. That's the conclusion of all this.
Okay. In this episode, we're talking about Bloodmarked. A book.
Fuck you.
Yeah, that exists. I do have the Barnes and Noble's exclusive edition, which means I have the bonus chapter. Fish is not ready yet, so we will not be talking about it. But I will be sending it to Fish at some point, in the near future.
We could talk about it in one of the other birthday month episodes for a second if you want.
True. So, what is this book? It is my personality. You remember in the Legendborn video you did, and you said multiple times, I'm a person who is constantly stressed. Why do I, the person I am, love this book? Because it's stressful as fuck. Well, Legendborn had nothing on Bloodmarked.
Yeah, I noticed.
It's just out here being a league of its own, like.
I feel like I was just dissociating the whole time because of how just intense it was.
Good times. I will talk about content warnings now. We got basically the same: racism, violence, grief, slavery, rape, death. The racism in the first one, for the most part, was very much microaggression type things, with a few characters who are obviously the bad people, secretly bad people, being outwardly racist, right? In her face. This one from the very beginning, throughout the whole entire fucking thing, is just chock full of it. You really think an order that literally had slaves at one point would accept their quote-unquote king being a black woman? No. Every white person there, who is everyone, is all like, we can't let you be the king. And then Bree's all like, that's racist. And they're like, it's not about race.
Hear me out. The things that happen in this book, fucking vile. Like, just downright vile.
Yes. There is another thing, it's not in the content warnings, but this 100% has medical trauma and forced medical procedures.
Oh my god, yeah. That was
the thing. So, yeah,
Don't worry, it's not covered by you, it's covered by me, so this book is us coded.
True. You want to guess how many pages of notes I have?
12.
5.
Oh. I just threw a number out there. I didn't really think about it.
Though I do have a lot of reading directly from the books. I didn't know how to describe those scenes, including but not limited to the scene where they kiss.
Ebony.
Also, I don't know what I'm going to bring it up. I think I'm going to bring it up near the end on my theories on what's going to happen in Oathbound, the third book, based off of how this book ends, and how I think this whole time, the demons are set up to be an allegory for racism. My brain at 11 p.m. was thinking about this nonstop, and I said a giant-ass paragraph to the finish last night, so...
Yeah, my brain too small to pick up on shit like that. There's so much nuance to this, and my brain is too small for it, unfortunately. That's why you're here with your degree.
Well, don't worry, because my brain's too small for this, too. This is where I bring up the fact that the first part, I didn't know.
Well, at least you're putting your college to use right now, right?
The first part is definitely, a lot is happening. And I didn't know how to describe it. Thankfully, somebody on Wikipedia on the plot summary really went into just enough detail where I could just copy and paste it and talk about it. So thank you to whoever did that on Wikipedia. You are a god in my eyes.
Yeah. Google.
So, good times. To quote the Wikipedia page, Bloodmarked begins with Nick Davis, Bree's boyfriend and the scion of Lancelot, missing after being kidnapped by his father, and Bree confined to a room in the lodge for her protection, quote unquote. Bree, frustrated and stir crazy, sneaks out to practice her magic. The way they use Sel's full name, Selwyn Kane, why would they do that to him? It is Sel, thank you very much.
I kind of like that his name's Selwyn, actually.
A Merlin tasked with keeping Bree and the rest of the Order of the Round Table safe discovers she has left her room. They are soon attacked by demons, and Bree is removed by the battle by an unknown entity who turns out to be a member of the Mage Guard, the Merlins, aka the elite military unit of the Order's forces.
Okay, I didn't understand that, so now I'm so glad you explained that to me, what that whole thing was.
Things that are also happening, me summarizing other things that are also happening, Sel is pushing Bree away, calling her Brianna, her full legal name, pushing her away.
Let's not do that!
She recognizes the thing. It's been a week since, they've seen each other, and the other members of the Order, not only, the other scions and squires and whatnot, but, actually, people in head of the Order, normal people who are, in charge of making decisions and whatnot, are noticing something's going on between them. So, at the end of the last book, Sel says that, she is his king, and calls her Cariad. She still has, it takes her a long fucking time to figure out, to, go through the process of actually figuring out what that word means, because she doesn't speak Welsh at that point.
I feel like she was scared to figure it out.
That was very much the vibe of, they're not talking about it until she looks it up and then comes to him, and that's when he knows that she's ready to, have a conversation about their tension, but until then, they're just not gonna talk about it. So, good times. That's, because they haven't talked about the conversation at the end of the last book. The Order labels Sel as a traitor to protect Lord Davis. He gets away when they try to capture him. But there's another demon attack, and he comes back to save her, and then lets them arrest him and blame him for everything, believing he went against the oath that time in the last book when she was just a page, and he let Bree be attacked by that demon, and didn't immediately stop the attack to try to figure out if Bree was secretly demon. But oops, Bree was actually Arthur, and Sel's whole entire job is to protect Arthur. And despite the fact that he didn't know Bree was Arthur, he 100% blames himself and thinks that he tried to kill Arthur. That's against everything he should be, and he needs to be punished for it.
Hear me out.
And that is Sel's trauma for this book.
Hear me out. He did nothing wrong. He did nothing wrong. Why are we mad at him? I don't give a fuck. Why are we mad at him? Why are we targeting little baby Sel? What the fuck
19.
is this?
Can we please? Also, I do get confirmation, Sel is 19 and Bree turned 17 in this one.
Hear me out. I feel like such a different person than I was when I was 19. That is fucking insane.
Same.
So, like,
As a
I'm
25-year-old lady, same.
As a 20-year-old, I feel like 19 is being a baby. Like, obviously, we're both still babies. Like,
Yeah.
people would categorize us as babies still.
Also, I don't think I put it up in my notes, but Cell is confirmed a literature major, classic literature major. And a thing that I didn't really bring up in the Legend Board episode, but Bree really loves Jane Austen. She quotes Jane Austen a lot. And so he will just start, like, occasionally he just flirts with her or banters with her with classic literature stuff. But she also knows classical literature, so she's just like, yeah, it'd been more impressive if you spoke in Latin and stuff like that. And I'm just like, sitting here,
I love that.
being a simple bitch.
Honestly, if someone quoted The Wicker King at me, they could do it and be like half wrong with it, and I would still be like, oh my god, I love you.
Listen, if someone just brought up the kissing scene in this one, or the gala scene in the first one, or the shirtless scene in the first one, or the scene in this one where Cell's injured and she has to help him.
Oh my god, don't speak to me about that. What? Speak to me!
Anyways, back to quoting Wikipedia, the Mage Guard have arrived at the lodge to ensure its safety before the arrival of the council, who are, like, the adults who are in charge of making decisions, right? Who will be attending the memorial service for those who died during the battle, 1 month earlier. So after the memorial, the Mage Guard initiates the Rite of Kings. There's some racist things happening there. It's not the biggest deal.
No, hold on.
Other things are also happening. Trust me, the racism, I will talk about the racism in a minute. During which Bree is suspected to complete the oath and claim her title of king. During the rite, Bree sees Nick in Lancelot's place and turns down the oath. And her vision of the Round Table changes into that of her ancestral stream, where she sees Vera. The whole ancestral stream is very confusing to me, personally.
Yeah.
As me, a person who can visually see things as they're reading them. I know you can't, but I can.
I can. It was horrible. I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is happening?
I can, and I had a hard time with it. So, she sees Vera, really the first one, the one who was the slave owner who was raped by the scion of Arthur, and that's how, her family, before waking again, where she began the Rite of Kings, she's briefly aware of her surroundings before feeling a syringe plunged into her neck and falling unconscious.
No, when that happened, I was like, oh my god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was distraught. I was like, what the fuck are you on about?
Yep.
The whole time I was like, what the fuck are they on about?
So there's this guy named Gabriel, part of the council. Let me just read off what he says. I'd like you to know, he says, this is for your own safety and ours. His mouth twists as he watches me rub my sternum. I apologize for your discomfort. It's taken us several attempts to get the dosage right. The serum is still experimental, you see. It works directly on your DNA, so the physical side effects are not insignificant. And she's like, what?
Yeah.
And he's all like, because you're a sign of Arthur, but also you're something else. And so we neutralized all your abilities. So we can speak to you without any ... surprises or unpleasantries. And she's like, you could have just asked me questions. Like, you didn't have to do all this, right? Valid. Here, let me find the next page before I read the next paragraph in the...
It's the way that men are scared of powerful women, but especially powerful black women. Like, it's not that difficult to have a conversation with somebody.
I know, right?
Like, these grown-ass men are scared of a teenager.
Yeah. So, next Wikipedia quote. Bree awakes repeatedly to the council members asking her questions about her mother and her powers. The first time she is fully aware she's being treated by her friend William, who is the scion of Gwen and has healing powers, right? He tells her the rite was an ambush, and the council has been holding the two of them in a facility for 3 days, controlled by a serum that subdues their powers. They have been mesmerizing Bree, which is mind-controlling Bree, as well. And she has this thing since, like, day one. She's been able to resist mesmer through pain, so she's able to do that, and break through their mind control. Let's go. Page 168 through 174. Let's go. So they're all like, we have to do this to protect Nick, and blah, 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 you know, them trying to come up for the excuses other than racism, right? And she's like, this isn't about me being a danger to others. It's about you preventing power from going to someone you think shouldn't have it. And they're all like, it's not that simple. And she's all like, but the line is law. Like, that's your whole rule. That's like your main rule. And they're like, it's not that simple. And she's all like, I wasn't raised in your world, but I know that following the bloodlines is the most sacred rule you have. There are 1,500 years of one non-negotiable, unbreakable truth. The one who pulls the sword becomes the king. That is the law. I glare at them all one at a time, unless she looks at me. And they're just like, well, you were raised without our customs? And she's all like, oh.
Bro, like,
and then they're also like, this is not about race. And I quote, I laugh icily when white people say something's not about race. It's usually because it is, and they don't want to talk about it. And then this random lady who's there, Sestra, I don't like Sestra, is like, excuse me? And Bree's like, excuse yourself? It was about race to Lord Davis, but at least he had the decency to admit it to my face instead of all of this.
Yeah.
And then they call her a child, and my grade A note about that is imagine calling your kid a child.
Yeah, like, she's literally the fucking silent author. Like, you can't fucking change that. Like, boo-hoo, get over it.
Yep. And then she's all like, hey, you know how I know this is about race? Because the entire conversation, not one of you have mentioned why I'm siding on Arthur in the first place. Why I have his blood in my veins. And they're like, and Aldrich, he's just some guy questionnaire. We don't need to talk about it. He's all like, we have heard the reports. This claim about how this claim, emphasis on that word, about how your bloodline came to be that of Arthur's is an accusation without proof. My nose is shaking in anger. She obviously also anger. You don't believe history is true. You don't even admit it's possible that I am Arthur's heir, not by choice or honor, but by violence. And there's like a big theme throughout this about how the whole entire Arthur order, everything like this, is just powered by violence, and how she doesn't want to like perpetuate into that, but also the only way she knows to activate her magic is through anger and rage and desperation. So, yeah,
I'm fine.
Yeah. Anyways, she's all like, I am your proof that this is how that happened. Shut the fuck up. And so, also, there are arguments on, everything she's told them about, all that. Is this council to believe that Samuel Davis, the last true scion of Arthur, you know, the one who raped her ancestor, would be so irresponsible. That's the word they used to describe getting pregnant by her. Yep. One thing I will give Sestra, she is the worst, but she does say the grade A line, since when has a man's title prevented his brutality instead of further emboldening it?
Yeah.
They tell her, you may have the king's blood, but you are not a scion, you are a mistake.
That's not what the book say, Betsy.
I know.
That's not the rules say, I think you just hear me out.
Also there's a whole thing where she's like, there's nothing I can do to change their minds, because, they have a dinner reservation. So they've already made up their mind. So she tells Regent Aldrich, that not here, not today, but somewhere, someday, and he's all like he's got he's feeling some kind of, he's like, what? And so, I think it's, a mage. I don't remember. Actually, no, it may be the guy who's about to experiment on her, right? Tacitus, is all like, your insistence is an act of kindness to help us save your friends, blah, 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 blah. You know, as she's being forced into this, right? And he's like, this is the best thing you can do with the gifts you've been given, and she's like, my gifts, and he's like, the powers of Arthur. And she's like, oh yeah, of course, Arthur's blood is a gift. My stomach twists into something rigid and painful, and not burrowing into my gut. What happened to Vera was not a gift. It was assault, theft. I want nothing else in the world in this moment but to burn down this Merlin. Tear him apart. Oh, he is a Merlin. Yes, so, like, good times.
Betsy, if you read a happy book for once in your life, I'm begging you for my mental health. Not your mental health, my mental health.
So yeah, they're gonna experiment on her. I think this is when Erebus, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Erebus? I'm gonna go with Erebus.
That sounds right.
He's all like, we're gonna do, some work, some scientific work. We all know what this means. Whatever he planned with those words, I know it will be invasive, not work, torture, my throat closes, all I manage to nod. And then he calls her brave. So, my theories on what their plans were is, I straight up wrote, I wouldn't be surprised if part of their science, quote unquote, would be using one of her eggs to breed the next white enough scion of Arthur that they could raise. And they basically keep her comatose until her time of scion was up, because you're, like, a scion until, like, you're 24 or something like that. Something obscene like that, like, really young, because all that power is very harmful to you, right? And so, basically, they wait out, like, 5 years until, she was not the scion anymore, and then kill her off. And force her to have a child that was white enough, quote unquote. That's my theory.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what
okay, more Wikipedia quotes. 2 more days pass before Bree is aided in a breakout, conducted by members of the Order, who are still loyal to her, some that we haven't really met before, along with her friends Alice, and Will. And then they also rescue, Cell from a separate facility, and their 3 new allies board a plane with them, and travel to a safe house. On the plane, Bree has another vivid dream/vision in which she's able to communicate with Nick. Right?
That was crazy.
I know, right? Alice is actually being a good friend, including when people say Tor will come around and totally isn't racist. Which is me paraphrasing, me paraphrasing what Alice, says when someone's like, listen, Tor's not racist, she'll come around, all this stuff. If you don't remember, Tor was the one at the end of the last one when Bree was like, hey, I'm the scion of Arthur and this is how. Tor went, you're not my king, I don't believe you. This is just an accident, all this stuff, right? Alice's basic, reaction to, them being like, she's not racist, she'll come around is sure, Jan. That meme, yeah. So,
I mean, it really pisses me off about Tor, but I understand it's to show that even other minorities can be harmful to other minorities.
Yeah.
Which I don't understand that. Like, be so for real.
Oh, okay. So, Alice doesn't trust Cell, and also says something about his looks, and Bree is protective of him and his looks. On page 209, so she's having a conversation in her weird dream vision thing with Nick, and he's talking about how his dad is trying to find the next person in her family line, right? The next scion of Arthur if she were to die, right? So that she can have power through having whoever this person is. We know things about that line, but basically, Bree's, they're like, we can't figure out any, like, last names, and there's all this thing where, like, they're trying to figure out more first names. It's so weird. And, and I quote, my veins turn cold tight. Then they widen and go hot. They're having trouble because enslavers only care to write down my ancestors' first names, not because that's all they had. So they can't figure out who would be next scion because slavers didn't keep good records of their slaves. And so they can't fucking figure it out. They're running into the trouble that most black people in America have to deal with when it comes to looking into ancestry. And listen, both Bree and I find that poetically hilarious. Okay, apparently at one point in the notes in the book, I was laughing at Vision Nick being all cute, but saying, I'm still Team Cell. Like, he's saying cute things to her. I'm like, okay, sure, Nick, be cute and all, but I'm still Team Cell. It's always been like a thing in the first one where when Cell looks at her, she can like feel it. It like feels like a tingling or something. But in this one, it's like feels like she's burning. The mages put Cell in void cuffs, which basically make it so he can't use any magic and will slowly go more insane, embracing more of his, what is it called?
Demon nature.
Yes, demon blood. Also, I don't remember when it's brought up in the book, but I haven't put in my notes. I forgot to put in my notes. The part demon that Cell is Incubus. He is part sex demon. I am 100% Tracy Deonn. Did that all the way for me.
No, I also very much enjoy that. Hear me out.
So only the person who put on these void cuffs can take them off, and that was Erebus.
But the void cuff in fucking Sane, like, oh my god, like that feels so nasty.
I know, right? Cell admits Nick was taken because he was distracted by, because Cell was distracted by Bree, and then in my quoting me, they would have executed Cell, for the crimes of putting the sign of Arthur in danger, right? Which makes Bree mad because he knew this and still turned himself in. Why? Okay, I wrote demon, and my computer's like, you want to change this to common? No, I want to keep it as demon, thank you. Cell's appearance is becoming more demon-like thanks to the cuffs. Cough, cough. He's like getting a little bit of fangs kind of going on. So, Wikipedia quote.
The way I would be mad about the thing if I was Bree.
Listen, like, she's not, like, Alice brings it up. Not in the way she thought, but Alice does bring it up, and it's like, he looks weird, and Bree's like, dude, I don't like it when people bring up and, disparage how he looks. Me too, Bree. More Wikipedia quotes. At the safe house, Bree is attacked by Grouchel, one of the strongest types of demons. So the group discovers that their host made a deal with the demon, wanting her to kill Bree, which would cut off the bloodlines and effectively end the Order of the Round Table. Before they kill the demon, Cell and Bree interrogate her, and she reveals that there is a demon referred to as the Great Devourer, who hunts humans for power. And this makes Bree think of a man she's seen in visions sent to her by her ancestors, known by them as the Hunter. The Hunter and the Great Devourer are the same person, cough, cough.
Would we put it past Miss Tracy Deonn to pull a Veronica Roth on us?
I don't put anything past Tracy Deonn. Tracy Deonn has, I think, listen. Tracy Deonn is so wild out here for putting the whole thing that, like, the only person who can take off these cuffs from Cell is Erebus. But, like, we currently know who takes off those cuffs. And we also know the revelation at the end of the book, which means in the first, like, 150 pages, she was hinting at the biggest plot reveal in this whole entire book.
Yeah, I didn't catch on to any of that.
I didn't until I was reading my notes, and then I went, oh, shit.
Oh my god.
During the demon fight, we learned Bree's roots magic can't be used by demons. You know, demons like to eat aether, which is kind of the magic that a lot of mages use. That's what the mages use, right? And they like to eat it, and that's what makes them more powerful and corporeal and all this stuff. Bree, with the power of roots, which is the ancestral, black ancestral magic, can make her own aether, which is, like, not a normal thing, for anyone, let alone a scion. But on top of that, the demon can't, like, forcefully eat her aether. Like, if she lets out a blast of aether, because that does happen at one point, it will eat that. They can eat that, but, like, if she's fighting a demon and the demon's trying to kill her by eating her aether, it won't work. They can't eat her magic. She's indestructible to it.
Like, do you realize how much brain power
I know, right?
it takes to write something like this? Like, what the fuck?
Cell is angry at the bruises the demon left on Bree, and I'm just a simple girl. Bree is learning Welsh now, but still hasn't looked up what Cariad means. Come on, Bree. I gotta go to... Oh yeah, okay, I gotta go to another book highlight. Purple highlight on page 265. Ironic that the Order, with the blood of chattel slavery on the hands of their founding fathers, with their wall of ages and thick tomes of family records, has to face the all-too-common challenge of researching Black American family ancestry. Enslavers never expected the descendants of the slave to be free enough to look back in time. Basically the thing I already brought up, but her saying it. Okay, page 270 to page 273. What is this? I see a lot of blue, I'm assuming it's Cell.
Oh.
Blue is code for Cell.
That makes sense.
Right, I mean, on the cover of this one, she has red magic and he has blue magic, so Bree is red, he's blue, and then anything else, plus Nick is purple, yep, is purple, and then, Arthur is yellow.
Wait, pause.
Because he makes me want to piss. I thought you'd like that.
No, because, pause. The potential for a throuple is so high. And
I know, right? I'm telling you.
My favorite book technically has a throuple, even though it focuses on one half of said throuple more than the whole thing. That's so funny.
No, like, it's 100%, like, believable, because on top of that, in this scene, that I was like, hey, talk about this scene in the notes. It is a scene in which she was talking about how she was talking to Nick in her dreams, and she tells Cell, he had asked about you too, and, he's, like, half surprised. He used to have a giant crush on Nick, because he's bi, and he has a thing with Bree, and Nick has a thing for Bree, and Bree has a thing for both of them, and there's, like, this whole conversation they have about how they both are basically in love with her.
No, hear me out.
And Nick's, like, not mad about the possibility of her and Cell ending up together when he's, like, in hiding, because, like, he understands. Like, hello? The setup is so there.
All the information that we're given with this context, and then seeing them all together at the end makes me want to do something drastic.
Oh, Bessie. This scene is the scene where he was injured, and he can't, heal himself. And other people can't heal him, and he can't heal himself because of void cuffs. And so...
Fuck the void cuffs.
So,
No, I had the most cursed thought.
He's trying to bandage himself up while him and Bree are having a conversation, and, I step forward between him and the sink without thinking, let me do it.
I was so normal about this scene.
This close, I can feel the heat radiating off his skin. Smell the hint of copper from his injury, like fresh pennies, the fading muted smell of shampoo, crisp fall air from the floor he pines up on his skin from his patrol through the trees. I've never really known what Cell smells like under his magic, or been close enough to see the detailing on his tattoo across his sternum. The Celtic knot is dark in the middle, with curled edges giving way to gray. And I quote her thoughts. Oh God. My gaze leaps to the top of his shoulder. I silently command my eyes to stay put, like my life depends on it, and I can't trust them not to wander.
I'm so normal.
And so he does the only thing he knows how to do in a situation like this, which is banter, which basically tells her, cause she's just standing there in place staring at him. He's all like, if you're just gonna steal the tape and not use it, then I'd like it back. Cell's voice always feels enveloping, like a physical thing I could touch. Right now, standing this close, it settles around us both like a blanket. I feel his gaze on the crown of my head, on my forehead, one of us, moving.
I'm not crying. You should
I
open
move to
your
set the tape behind me, but he takes it before I can shift away, keeping me close. She's ignoring the heat from his skin, I reach for the tape in Cell's hand, but he grasps it tight in his fingertips. I pull, but he won't let go. I tug again, hear the smirk overhead. I sigh and finally lift my eyes. The soft bow of his mouth bow of his mouth is curved upward on one end, and his golden eyes, more burnt orange than I remember, twinkle with mischief and something that makes my heart shudder. He tilts his head, eyes roaming across my features. He idly examines the space between us, smirking at the inches that already feel like nothing. He leans forward with both hands on the counter, crowding me into the sink, until I'm caged between his arms and his eyes are level with mine. Your heart is pounding in your chest right now. Your breath just became shallow and fast. My face burns and has nothing to do with his gaze. Can I tell you a secret, Brianna? His voice slips into the sliver of air between us, silk and heat. I like hearing the way people respond to me. You in particular. I shiver. It's involuntary. Oh, I know. You think this book is about Arthurian bullshit? No, it's about these two.
Sorry.
Sells movement skips across my cheeks. See something you like? He'd seen my gaze wander to his mouth, and I let it stay there. Let me inspect him. Not hot embarrassment wraps around my entire throat. Okay, so, they're talking about things, blah, blah, blah. He calls her the king, and she's all like, "Your king?" Sel's eyes bore into mine, dizzying. That feeling from the plane returns, a sweeping sense of falling into him like I am lost, losing all of myself momentarily, willingly. He goes so still, I wonder if he stops breathing. Then I wonder if I have. You are my king now, carry on. His words hang between us, rushing loud through my ears. When he speaks, his voice drips with warning. Do not attempt to bait me into repeating myself. When he leans back, the air around me drops several degrees immediately. Because he already called her his king in the last one. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I don't think my Squishmallow muted that scream very well.
It did not.
I'm sorry.
There's also a thing. Okay, so like throughout this one, they're both going through traumatic experiences. Him mostly the being arrested and not being able to use magic, possibly going insane, all this stuff. Also being in love with his friend's girl, like all this stuff, right? Believing he deserves to be punished for the things he did in the last book. And being depressed because of that. Bree is going through the fact that the mages mesmered her when she was taken by the order, and she doesn't know how much of her mind is actually her mind or what they put in there.
Horrifying.
Anyways, they're on the run again. Page 292.
I think this whole book can be classified as horrifying.
She's scared that he's gonna leave her and all this stuff, and then he gets angry, and she's all like, "You were very furious with me, why?" And he's like, "Because, silly thing." His finger draws along my jaw before falling away. "You truly thought I would leave you."
I'm fine.
Anyways, they are now back to their normal way of bantering. They found their way back to it, which is their way of flirting. That is important. To me personally. What is this unsupported? What did you send me on Instagram? I'm doing important work here.
It's very important.
Oh. Yeah. Same.
See, I told you it was important.
So, while they're on the run, they decide to go to the Magical Beings Bar, which is run by, Valak, who is a part demon, like mages, but he's not a mage. His whole thing
The way I like him.
I know, right? He's so funny. I love him. He gives very much stereotypical vampire, vibes, you know,
and that's so real.
And his whole thing is that when humans make deals with demons, he is kind of like the middleman. You can, like, hire him to be the middleman to make sure that it is, all, like, peachy and, like, everything is equal, all this stuff. So you're not, like, paying too much, all that fun stuff. Oh, there's a whole scene where William says Bree looks great, and Sel just says she looks nice and looks away, and this causes Bree to go into his tailspin about the gala and how he looked at her and how now he's just calling her nice, but also they're not together, so she should leave it be. That's like a big thing that's happening in this whole scene. Sel's given a drink of Aether, that could fix his whole, slowly turning more demon thing, or accelerate it. Basically it's a test. He takes it. Sel and Bree are flirting while they wait for the bathroom, and amongst many things, he calls her devourable.
Which, hear me out. Like, I had to pause.
I literally told the fish this
Wait,
yesterday, and then the fish is reading it and then screams when they get to that point. Like,
we're just saying this while we're waiting on the bathroom. Like, hello?
Oh, I gotta figure out. Try to find the pages before I get to that point. Okay. So, Valak, Loki discovers how powerful Bree is. She lets out a blast of magic from her, and he assumes she's a squire to, one of the Scions, right? And warns her about the good old racism. He's basically like, hey, just so you know, they've always been white men in power. They may let you be a squire, but they're never gonna let you do like anything else. You can't be with anyone there, like all this stuff, because you would muddy the waters type thing. Right? He basically takes Sel hostage for being a part of the Order. Also William, because the Order isn't allowed there, and requests a deal or death in payment. Right? So Alice informs him of some stealing happening in the bar for their freedom. This is when Valak removes the mesmer, hiding who Sel is. My notes about this is I cry.
I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Where Sel's skin is usually even and pale, his skin is flushed with bright red slashes across his cheekbone. His lips are a deeper color than I've ever seen. I catalog the damp black strands plastered on his temple and forehead. The rapid flutter pulse against the skin of his throat, striking wrong for a Merlin, whose hearts beat more slowly than people who are fully human. At his sides, dark veins line his fingers, and hands stretch past his wrists. She tries to look away. Or no, he tries to look away, and she's like, look at me, please. She tries to touch him. The guilt I felt being close to him, thinking I was somehow betraying Nick, thinking that Sel wanted to be close to me, wanted to touch me. The parts of me that screamed that I wanted him to touch me too. But no, none of that was real. I felt like falling into him, maybe even for him.
Sorry. Is this like low-key a third act breakup?
Like, more like halfway through breakup. So, you may be, why does she feel extra betrayed by this? Remember when I brought up the fact that they mesmered her? So, Arthur, feels like she's being controlled by all these people pulling her strings. Arthur pulling my strings like a puppet, Arthur invading my mind at the funeral, Arthur making me wonder if I could even trust myself, on top of the Order, and then now Sel doing the exact same thing. You knew they drugged me, manipulating my mind, my memories, so that I could be their toy to use or toss aside. You know what he feels like in my head. How I can't trust myself sometimes. Don't know if it's him or me. Is that what I am to you too? A toy?
Oh my god.
I thought a sob wrenches its way from my throat. My heart feels as if it could collapse in on itself, taking breath and joy with it. I feel violated all over again. You're just like them.
I'm in your fucking walls. I hope you know that.
Also, in this, we learned because he's, like, so far demon-esque, right? He decided to stay with Bree this whole time instead of going after Nick because his oath, despite her being the scion of Arthur, right? His oath is technically with Nick, so if he went and actually, did the work of the oath, then he would get better. But he decided to stay with her instead, progressively getting worse. Because he didn't care as long as he was with her. I'm fine. It's fine. They do give him a bunch of shots of Aether basically to keep him stable for the time being. So that's the thing that's happening. Valak introduces her to another root crafter. I already talked about that. Who is his grandniece, like 7 times removed. Her name's Lucille. Also, a friend of Lucille's is there, and she's the one who taught Bree how to talk to her ancestors through her medium skills in the first one. Who's friends with the psychologist, right?
Mm-hmm. Isn't her name Mariah?
Yeah.
Big brain.
Val says that they've been even more lesser demon attacks recently. The Rootcraft community is scared of the hunter who is also the Devourer of Worlds, remember that? Who is a higher demon who likes to eat Rootcrafters' powers, which is suspicious. That's weird because Bree's Rootcraft of Aether wasn't able to be eaten by the other demons, but this demon apparently can. The oath that Vera did while pregnant is called Bloodcraft, and it's a big no-no in the Rootcraft community. Lucia's like, and she's all like, listen, I know, like, it's probably a big no-no in your community, but, like, I saw it happen through the vision things, and she had to do it. She had no other choice, and Lucy's like, okay, valid. And Lucille agrees to teach Bree how to use her Rootcraft more reliably if she comes back to fight the Hunter someday. It's like this whole thing where Bree can't use her Rootcraft abilities, which means the big badass power she has of the Aether, she can't control when it happens. Which is kind of a big deal, because one, she could hurt her friend, but two, there's, like, the issue of, like, if she's being attacked, she doesn't know if it's going to come, which is a big issue, because also, the only other way that she would be saved is by Cell, and Cell can't sense if she's in danger like he can with Nick, because he's oath to Nick, not her, and the only time he knows when she's in danger is when her Aether ability goes wackadoodle, and goes full power. So it's like this whole thing where until she learns how to control it, she's in big danger. And they're like, okay, sure, if you come fight the Hunter for us after you're done with all this. And Bree's like, deal, because they're all like, oh, wait a second, what? Like, William and Alice and Sel are like, excuse me. And she's like, no, I'm down. Because, like, he's been trying to feed off my family for generations. So I'm down. Also, like, she feels like she keeps on putting Rootcrafters in danger from being in both sides of the world, right? Valak is the half-demon son of a slave named Pearl, who Bree saw be born in an ancestor walk, which is how she knows that mages and whatnot are half-demon. That's when she learns that they're half-demon, and then she brings it up to Cell, and Cell's like, yeah, I'm an incubus, bitch.
That's such a normal sentence.
So, yeah, Nick is in trouble. Bree, walking the memories of Arthur to talk to Nick a lot, is using up a lot of her magic and turning her hair gray. That's another thing. I didn't bring up the fact that the people who run the order, the adults, right, are old scions who are no longer scions because, like, the power left. But, the big thing is that, like, a lot of their hairs are, like, they're mostly gray hair because using so much magic takes out so much of their body. And turns them old faster, right? Nick's mother had all her memories of Nick forcibly removed and was disowned by her own family. There's, like, this whole thing where they bring up that, like, he saw his mother walking on the street one day, and so he went to be like, Mom, after she went, like, quote-unquote missing, because she tried to take Nick out of this whole world, for valid reasons. I would not put it past Lord Davis to be a domestic abuser. And she had all her memories wiped, so she did not remember him, and that traumatized him for valid, like, yeah, that would traumatize me too. Anyways, the Order has found, Nick. Erebus orders a god, oh yeah, so, like,
fucking Erebus, oh my god.
So between Bree being able to tell from, like, the vision, walking, blah, 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 that Nick's in danger, and still being able to feel that Nick's in danger, they go running after him. They find, they're watching this happen in, like, the trees. Erebus orders a guy named Max, to kill Lord Davis to take, so they can get control of Nick. And they kill Lord Davis. They put a spear right through his chest. He dead.
When that happened, I was like, what the fuck? I did not expect
Nick
that
is
at all.
upset and goes into Lancelot mode and cuts off Max's head. And I kind of respect him now.
I mean, yeah, well, that was even more shocking, honestly.
No, literally, he cut off his head, and both Cell and Bree are like, ah! And later on, in, like, a vision talking thing, he's all like, listen, I didn't do it for, like, my father or any of this stuff. I did it for me and because I wanted to. And it sounds like I'm just gonna move past that.
I mean, that's valid, I guess.
So Erebus knows his Cell and Bree are there. So he's chasing after them. They're hiding out, and in a moment of desperation, she uses her root's power to shatter the void cuffs. But hey, isn't Erebus the only one who's able to do that? That's suspicious. That's weird. Cough, cough. So, also, when they hold hands, Cell can use Bree's Aether, and since he's the one with knowledge of how to do, like, all the different magical stuff, right? With her OP level of Aether, they hella strong.
No, because everything from this point on is just like, bam, 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 and I'm like, gripping the fucking wall.
Yeah. They basically, Val describes it as basically, using, like, the level of magic they just dropped is like a nuclear bomb. And somehow Erebus survives this and is only burned. Weird. Also, Cell is drunk off her Aether. That's a thing. I wonder if by using her Aether, he is able to become less demon-like. Anyways, demons are coming because, they can all sense this, and so they're gonna use it to become more, what is it called? Corporeal, and, they're like, snack time! Oh, that's a pretty kitty cat. Valak says her magic tastes like rage and pain and chaos. Oh, that's
Makes
weird.
sense.
It's almost like violence is a thing. Generational violence and trauma is a thing happening. Bree is injured. It's like this whole thing where she's injured underneath her Aether armor that, like, going full Scion does, right? So, like, Cell is freaking out over her and trying to talk her down into calming down so that she can remove the armor so that he can, like, help her out. This is when Valak learns that, no, she's not the Squire of Arthur. She's the Scion of Arthur. And he's like, oh, fuck. So, Cell is using up a lot of magic to keep her alive, telling her to stay alive for him, and I'm okay, I swear. She basically passes out, from the pain and the shock and whatnot. William later describes it as, like, literally every part of her organs was just fucking destroyed. And there's no way she should have been able to get there and, like, in time for William to heal her. The only reason that happened is because Cell was literally holding her organs together, with his magic. Which is a lot of magic.
Which is insane.
It's a lot of magic, but also the level of magic to do that is super intricate, and it should have killed any mage. Like, any mage should have died from doing that level of magic. But no, he just, like, passed out a little bit, but he's gonna be fine. Page 413. Okay, me. Apparently I cried on the section.
I have a request.
What?
Stop making me read ongoing series for my mental health.
I guess I could stop doing that. It's not my fault. I'm in the middle of 71 series.
That's a personal problem. There's something wrong in your head.
My hip just popped so loud and it felt so nice. Alright, apparently in this section I was crying. She finds him in the woods, says you saved my life. He says I did, and she's like, oh my god, what if we both died? And so, then he brings up the fact that, like, the King's Mage Oath is to Nicholas. And some days it is nearly impossible for me to fight that instinct, but with you, no other Merlin can protect you like I can, because no other Merlin feels about you this way I do. I want you to live because I want you to be happy. Not because of a spell, but because so very many things would break and go dark if you weren't in the world, myself included.
There's not tears leaking from my eyes. There's just not. There's just not. Do you believe me?
Uh-huh. Totally.
Kiki believes me.
He's all like, do you really think Nicholas would begrudge us of this after everything? And she's like, this. And, at this point, he's all like, okay, maybe it's too early to bring this up. And so he's all like, yeah, King's Mage and a king who needs protecting. And she's like, okay, yeah, totally right. And he's like, yeah, right. So, also, they have pecan pie in the crafter community, and I asked the important question in my notes, can I have some, please? I really love pecan pie. Pecan pie is my favorite. A demon is waiting for Bree to pay the debts of the Bloodcraft debt. A part of the debt is one daughter at a time, and the mothers die young. Which is why, that's another reason why Lord Davis was having such a hard time to figure out who the next scion of Arthur would be, because there's only one at a time. So there's no other. It's only her. The deal was with the Hunter, aka the Devourer of Worlds. The Hunter's mark makes it so if any other demon tries to feed off her, they die or are badly injured, which is why demons can't eat her rootcraft abilities. But he's, like, known to eat rootcraft abilities, so, like, that's the thing. So they take Bree to Volition, an old plantation that has border powered by the dead ancestors of rootcrafters, and the rootcrafters give Alice the ability to see magic. So they're like, this is like a parallel of when the Orders was questioning Bree about her powers, but instead of like torturing her and medical stuff that definitely isn't legal, and also 100% kidnapping. In case you're wondering, yes, her father is trying to find her. That's the thing they bring up at one point, where her dad is, like, asking questions, and they're like, we gotta stop that. Instead of that... I
feel bad for her dad, honestly.
Yeah. But, in comparison, the Rootcrafters are just, like, sipping tea, hanging out, being like, okay, tell us about your abilities. They believe she can navigate DNA memory, and that's why she can walk in her ancestors' memories, Arthur included. They help her summon her...
Fuck Arthur! Gotta throw that out there for a second.
Yeah, they help her summon her ancestors one at a time to figure out how to wield their magic, learn from them, starting from the most recent back. So, that means she gets to talk to her mother briefly. Right?
I'm so normal about that. I'm so normal about this.
Barely even used their magic in fear of the Hunter. And so she finally reaches down to the last one, which is Vera. Still has no answers. Because, and she's all, like, talking to Vera, and she's like, listen, I'm not victim blaming you, because I get why you did it, and you were completely valid in that, but also you never had to experience the trauma of what you did, has put all of us through all that grief and sadness and generational trauma that you have put us through, by making that deal with the Hunter, and, this is where we learned, Vera didn't know the Hunter was a demon. She didn't know she was making a deal with a demon.
Who the fuck else was she making a deal with?
I don't know.
But you didn't know what
she was doing.
Hello?
Anyways, they have a fight, and, Bree accidentally breaks the border a little bit, so she goes running, Cell follows her. He says he craves her, she wants to talk to Nick in her memory walking, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, if he's the one that gives you comfort, go to him. But she uses the Rootcrafter ability of what they just taught her, to bring Cell with.
Why did you do this to me?
Don't worry, there's still 2 more books in this series. And you gotta wait until 2025 for the next one.
Honestly, it'll be here sooner than we think.
True. In the memory walk, the demon leaders, which are known as the Shadow Corps, which is basically the demon version of the Round Table, right? It's real, and Arthur fought them. Nick and Cell almost immediately start fighting. No, Nick won't come hang for a bunch of reasons, and Cell brings up the fact that the Order wouldn't let them sleep together in fear of intertwining the Arthur and Lancelot lines. And I question what actually would happen. Like, how would that work? Anyways,
Well, I imagine it'll either end up with there being one or the other, but they don't want to risk not having one or the other. Right?
Or would that person have so much power of having both of them? Like, is that a thing? Like, what's Sal and Nick have a combo in Welsh, and that Bree tries to follow along with, but doesn't really work out. Page 463. That's where I get to tell you translations. Cell tells Nick, she is beautiful. And, Nick replies, yes, she is, eternally. And he says, she misses you. And Nick replies, she misses you too. Then Cell says, I'm afraid for her. And Nick informs him that I'm confident you can keep her safe. And Cell really thinks that, like, they should not trust him with the level of, like, demon-esque he is going. He's not sure if he should trust himself near her and all this stuff. We're getting very close to the kissing scene, in which I will read pages 479 to 482 out to you.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to drink some water. I'm gonna need to drink some water. Okay, all the memory walking in Arthur's memories is causing, unstable disruptions in the memory land, whatever. Anyways, hey, it's Bree's birthday! It sounds like you didn't tell me, and she's like, you didn't, like, or like, he's like, I didn't know to get you a gift, and she's like, I never told you my birth month, and he's like, and also, I don't know when yours is, and he's like, it's June, and I wrote down that it is so gay.
Yeah, that made me giggle.
So he got her a gift, which basically he takes her to a field. Well, he goes through this waterfall and takes her to a field.
Wait, that means she might get cancer.
I know, right? And it's full of fireflies for her birthday present. She admits that she knows what Cariad needs now, because she asked William. Okay, we're on to Made Fun of Me then.
The fireflies made me think of the Bushfoot. The Bushfoot.
My heart is rattling around in my chest. I bet he can hear it. In fact, I know he can, because he frowns and after a moment of hesitation, raises my palm and nuzzles his face in it. Eyes half closed. It's grounding. He's there. He's here. He's not rushing me or accusing me or making fun of me. He's listening. I wonder, not for the first time, how much he's been touched with affection. At that thought, my fingers flex around his temple and he presses forward, pressing them farther into his hair, seeking contact. So that's a yes. Starved for touch. This is confirmation. My baby Cell is touch-starved. When my fingers curl into the silken dark strands of over his ear, his eyes open wide, bright gold against the firefly's blue-yellow glow. And then he asks her what different meanings for Cariad she found. And so there's sweetheart. He says yes. Darling. He says yes. Beloved. He says yes. And then she says love. And he pulls away, eyes molten, this close, his gaze burns my skin, scalds, but I don't want him to look away. Yes, it does. And she asks, which did you mean? And he is all like, trick question, because I meant all of them. She bites her lip, and he smiles, drawing it out with his thumb. But you already knew that, didn't you? She's like, yeah, I knew that. So he's wondering why she asked anyways, and she just wanted to be sure. Because even now, even though you trust me with your life, you don't trust me with your heart. I will need to be happy that you at least believe that what I felt about you, then that can be enough for me, if that's what you need. Oh, okay. I pull his head down and press my mouth to his indignant scowl until it turns soft and warm. His shoulders against me. Then his palm wraps around the nape of my neck, turning the kiss fierce. His mouth open and hot. He pulls me in by the hip, closer, a pulse building between us. A shared demand. There's a whoosh movement, and I am against the tree, bark digging into my back, Self's mouth working against mine before he tears himself away entirely with a low groan. We shouldn't, he pants. Not like this. Embarrassment and desire mingle so thickly, I can't tell one from the other. Sensation swims, turning me from the inside out. My mouth burns from his while my mind tilts around the access memory of his hand on my hip. Logic and words feel far away. My heart is beating fast somewhere in my fingertips, in my belly, in the entirety of my chest. When I open my eyes again, Cell is watching me with unguarded hunger and amused awe, like he knows everything my body is feeling, the warmth and torture and shock, and hopes it never ends. She tells him to stop looking at her like that, and he says, stop looking like that, like you're desperate to be back in my arms. I like that look on you.
I'm so normal.
And she's like, you're enjoying this, and he says, I'm part incubus, of course I'm enjoying this. Stop, stop, and everything in between if it's with you. He sighs, relents. It's not that I don't want. He turns away with another groan, fist clenching at his eyes. I want. He shakes his head, voice softer now. But there are too many questions, Bree, between you and me, between you and then he doesn't say Nicholas, but we all know he means Nicholas. She goes to apologize for kissing him, and he says no. And she's like, what? And he says, don't say you didn't mean to kiss me. He steps closer, voice desperate, hand warm against my cheek. I couldn't stand it if that were true. When he kisses my cheek this time, his lips are a firm hot promise, and a admonishment. God, that was hard. I wish, against my skin, he whispers, instead, tell me you meant it. I take a shaky breath and listen to my own heart racing in my chest. Feel the buzz of magic from his skin rippling across mine. Stand in the place of his attention and request and speak the truth. I meant it. It doesn't seem to stick. I've repeated again for good measure. I meant to kiss you, Sal. He calls her reckless, and she says, and he says, and never change, Brianna Matthews. And then, they're walking back to Volition, and with slow steps and shy smiles and hips and legs that keep touching as we walk. Sal stops abruptly, tugging me back into his arms. His hands cradles my jaw. Say it one more time, he murmurs. I grin against him and push up to my toes to whisper in his ear, I meant to kiss you. And then literally, like, the next sentence, they're under attack. Literally, it goes immediately from kissy time to mages are trying to break down the barrier, and Miss Deonn won't give me a moment to breathe. So they were gonna take Bree's father captive to kind of control her, but they decide, maybe taking the last living, relative, this girl with so much power and anger is not a good idea. So they take the doctor, the psychologist from last book, captive instead. Erebus is in charge of the attack, right? She argues with Arthur over control, but in the end gives full control to him to fight. A bunch of shit happens, but basically Arthur hurts Alice, and so Bree's trying to kick him out, and he's like, nah, you're mine now, and the next section has no, so the next section is, normally when it's part, it goes part 2, and then, like, Rootcraft, or, Bloodcraft, or something like that, for a title for the part. There is no part number. It's just only a king, in all caps. Good times. I gotta go to page 498 to 500. We're getting close. Okay, so, Arthur is now fully in control and says to the lies, I am Arthur Pendragon and I own this body now. I have been manipulating her for months, playing on her desire to wield my abilities, an impossible feat with an overdraw of ambient ether that no one could ever hope to control. Sel is upset about that, saying you were doing that to her, letting her burn herself so she would be forced to summon you for aid, bleed for you, live your memories. I never intend to allow Brianna to regain control of herself, of course, but if she did, she found her Merlin dead, she would be extremely distraught, extremely. I step over his body and continue toward the still running vehicle. I whip around to see the spearcaster. I thought I killed you, old friend. The voice cracks from long disuse, only for a time. Basically, the person there, basically the order there fighting as well, right, he beats the order, but then, oh no, he's attacked by the hunter, aka the Great Devourer, and that, we don't get to know who that is yet, but we do know that, that demon who made that deal with Vera that long ago was an arch enemy of Arthur's, following the line until Arthur was awoken. Also, we learn that the hunter is the king of demons, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what's this? Arthur can't summon Bree's root magic? That's weird. The other members of the order show up, and he's all, but why won't you listen to / follow me? As they're trying to chain him, but the root crafters are very much team. No one will chain one of us again. So, good times. He does allow them to cuff him just because they say that the other Scions will be there. And he's all, yes, I want to talk to my friends again. Not realizing they're not his friends anymore, like they're different people, right? But also he's all like, why doesn't nobody listen to me? I am Arthur. Like, I am the Arthur. No one's listening to me. It's like not clicking his brain. He's in the body of a 17-year-old black girl. Like, they're not gonna listen to you.
It's kind of funny in the sense that, like, fuck Arthur. That's the only way it's funny. So fuck him.
Yep.
Fuck him.
Yep.
Instead of fucking the Grievous, fuck Arthur. There we go.
Also the root crafters are like, we can what is the power? Not power. When you're possessed, they, what is it? What's the word? It starts with an E. That the church does to try to get when you're possessed by a demon. They try to do this. Exorcism. They do an exorcism. They're like, hey, we can do an exorcism on Bree. We can get him out. Like, it's pretty easy. And the order's like, oh no, we would like to run tests, so no thanks. So Rootcrafters attack, but Erebus is able to escape with a forcefully asleep Arthur. So they take him to see the rest of the Scions, right? And there's a bunch of the Order people there. And this is where we learned Tor helped the Order keep drugged up in the beginning. And in chains. The rest of the Legend Board are against the Order, our Team Bree, including Tor's girlfriend. And Tor's girlfriend breaks up with her. And also, they suspected... I don't remember. They suspected, though mostly her girlfriend brought this up to the rest of the Legendborn group, right? But basically, she was like, hey, you kept on being like, even though we all knew that, like, they totally 100% kidnapped Bree, and something suspicious is going down, you would just be like, no, we should trust them, it's totally fine. So I told the rest of them not to trust you, and then we called up this group of mages that are descendants of Morgaine, who is Arthur's half-sister, and didn't tell Tor, so now there's a bunch of other people here to attack. Should do that by page 523.
Tor's girlfriend.
So,
like,
Ava is the... I don't think they give, like, the Morgaine soldiers' names, or, like, a specific order title, so I'm just gonna call them the Morgaines. The leader of them is Ava. He's immediately like, my sister! And she's all like, your reign, your order is what eventually drove your sister to exile. Or did that history get lost beneath your many wars? The order accused her descendants of treachery. And he's all like, no, that was a mistake. I will make this right, I swear. And she's like, too late. We're gonna kill all of you. Greer and the other members of Team Legendborn, or Legendborn crew, teamed up, 524. Where does this start? The enemy of your enemy, blah, blah, blah. She's all like, you want to keep this from me, all of you? Yeah, her name's Sarah, the girlfriend's name is Sarah. Sarah shakes her head. Also my notes about this is clap off Sarah. You kept trying to get us to trust the council, even when we all knew that they were lying to us. They've gone after Bree from the beginning, Tor for all the wrong reasons. So I told the others they couldn't trust you with this. Right?
Hell yeah. Like, took her long enough, respectfully.
Anyways, Ava's all like, because while we came here to fight the Regents, you are the Order, Arthur, and for it to truly die, so must you. The Regents is like the Order people who used to be Scions. It's confusing. There's a lot of different terms for the same exact thing. It's very confusing sometimes. He replies, I do not wish to harm my own sister's descendant, but I will if I must. And they start a fight. Anyways, this part is also confusing. So Also quoted Wikipedia, and I quote, Arthur takes over her body, pushing her consciousness into the maze of his memories Arthur had been living in for centuries. Arthur is determined to maintain corporeality, while Bree is determined to find her way out of his subconscious. Eventually, Sel and Nick, as Merlin and Lancelot, help Bree re-emerge. In part of that, she does become a dragon. She becomes a dragon in this. She becomes a dragon. I'm just saying. So, the amount of shit Sel had to do to get Bree out of there, is a lot of magic, and so now he's going full demon mode.
Mm-hmm.
Alice is in a coma. Bree gets out of Arthur's control.
About Alice respectfully. Like, yes, it was better this book, but still.
I know, right?
You gotta do a little bit more for me to feel bad about Alice.
Bree gets out of Arthur's control by denying her role of Scion of Arthur. She denies it, therefore she is no longer, he can no longer access her. Excalibur is broken in the act of doing that. Bree realizes how to fully use her Rootcraft Aether abilities and is low-key in control now. That's when Erebus shows up, and he's the hunter / devourer of worlds. Hey, remember when Erebus was the only one who could break the void cuffs on Sel's wrist, but she did that. Only the hands of Erebus could do it. But there's this whole thing where he has her marked as his with his hand. And that's why she was able to break it. No, literally, it's you're supposed to believe that she was just so powerful that she did that, and that's not unbelievable. But actually, this whole plot twist is why. He's not been hunting down her line, but trying to protect her line so that one day when they reach full power and one day, died, he could have all that Aether to himself. And since she's the full powerful one, when she dies, he can't kill her, but he could, totally set it up that, she dies in an accident, whoops, and then he can eat all of that. Have a good snacky snap, and become even more powerful. Hey, that's weird. Does he want to get more powerful? I'm to defeat Arthur. She agrees to go with him, because he can protect her. And in payment, he'll teach her how to fully use her abilities. That will make her even more powerful, so he'll get even more Aether. So it's mutual beneficial. But also, because he's been secretly working for the Order this whole time, he has contacts in the Order, and he can help her find Sel's mother. Because she didn't succumb to the demon blood, and can possibly help bring Sel back to his normal self. Basically, Sel sacrifices himself to save her from Arthur, and then she sacrifices herself to a demon so that she can possibly save him from his own demon blood. That is how this book ends. She says goodbye to Nick and Sel, saying it's her turn to save them, and then Erebus takes her away. And that's how the book ends.
Hear me out. Hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. What the fuck?
I told you, the last 50 pages are so wild.
What the fuck is wrong with you? What the fuck is wrong with Miss Tracy Deonn? What the fuck is wrong with you? Why the fuck did you make me read this?
I thought you'd like it. Didn't you love it?
I mean, yeah, but that's besides the point.
There was, blood deals and stuff. You love blood deals.
Well.
And, there's Sel being hot. Listen, I remember the two things I vividly remembered was the kissing scene and the fact that, he is going more demon and he looks different. And I kept on being every time he would talk about Sel, I was oh, I can't wait till you hear about how different he is and basically what they do to him. And how they hurt my baby boy. I know I call him my baby boy, but he's also secretly my husband, and...
That's weird. That's kind of weird.
I know. Anyways, I love him.
It's I'm your fish, but I'm also your kid, and you're a single mother.
Yeah. Your father is Sel.
Oh, he's like that bad? Okay.
Good news. You have positive bi representation on both sides, so I don't know if I'm positive bi representation, let's be real. But,
Well, why wouldn't you be?
I don't know. Have you met me? Alright. The thing that I wanted to bring up at the end, remind me to bring up the idea that the demons, I'm reading this from what I texted you last night, demons are an allegory for racism. for instance, maid children are physically bonded, like literal children. Like we get to see in the extended chapter that I have, we get to see around the age that Cell was when that happened, and he was like 8. Like literal children, are physically bonded to be controlled, and how Cell spends a good chunk of this book, like over half of this book, physically in chains. And how I'm feeling the next book will be, since she is with, like, the king of the demons, right? A lot of it will be about her learning about the truth of what happened in the ye olden days. And why the Order started, and how this thousands-year-long war is because Arthur couldn't let a demon possibly have more power than him, and racism. Despite the fact that his half-sister was half-demon, and then, like, her whole life was destroyed because of, like, all this stuff, so that, he could have more power, and then, murder time. Right? And I think, secretly, Hunter / Great Devourer is gonna be, like, an anti-hero. Like, he's not a good guy, for sure, but, like, he's definitely not the worst person here, and he will help Bree, defeat, the Order, and, they will team up, and then when she dies someday from natural causes, he gets to eat all the Aether, and then maybe her children get to be normal and not have to deal with generational trauma,
Oh my God.
and grief. Anyways, the whole point of this writing is I'm kind of low-key, even before I thought of this at like 11 p.m. last night, this idea, I low-key already was on Team Great Devourer because he seemed pretty cool, and in my brain, I do 100% call him Shadow Daddy.
Oh my God, girl. Anyways, I have mixed feelings about him, honestly. I don't know what to think.
Other than the fact that he's Shadow Daddy.
You got issues in your head. I thought I had issues in my head. No, there's something wrong in there.
I'm sorry, have you read these books? Of course I have issues in my head.
Like, I already knew you had issues in your head, but, like, fucking Shadow Daddy, you're obsessed with an half incubus? Like,
yeah.
Like, I get it, but, like, still.
Anyways, that's the book. I rated it 5 stars.
I think I'm going to rate it 5 stars.
Oh, thank God.
And hear me out.
I thought we were going to have to divorce this podcast. I thought we were going to have to break it up and we take it every other week.
What if I lower Legendborn to a 4.5?
Ooh, that's initially what I rated it. Actually, hilarious story. That's initially what I rated it, and then I ended up rereading it to read Bloodmarked the first time. And then I went, never mind, I'm putting it to 5.
Well, comparing it to Bloodmarked in my head, it was very good. But, like, there's something about Bloodmarked. I don't like changing my ratings, though, so I'm a C for cereal.
I think they're good for different types of people. Like, if you're the type of person who likes a bunch of revelations, and wild shit happening, Bloodmarked. But if you like the type of person who likes the setup of lore and all this stuff happening, then Bloodmarked, or Legendborn's for you. Legendborn's for the setup, Bloodmarked for the, revelations. I think Oathbound is gonna be 100%, just like just all over the place, just revelations all over the place about everything. We're gonna learn so many truths in that one. That's my thoughts and opinions.
I feel like the middle two are gonna be my favorite, and you're gonna like the first one. Well, I don't know how you'll feel about that actually.
Is there even a synopsis for Oathbound yet? No. It's expected publication January 1st, 2025.
But I usually like the middle books the most.
I usually dislike middle books.
Yeah, because my favorite book is Catching Fire.
Same. No, actually, the first one's my favorite. My favorite movie is Catching Fire.
My favorite movie is also Catching Fire. I feel like The Titan's Curse is my favorite Percy Jackson book. I mean, nothing can beat the first one, obviously, but if I had to rank them, The Titan's Curse would probably be number 2, and stuff like that, for example. It's usually just one of the middle books that are my favorite, so I don't know. This was a good book. This is a very good book. I hate you. I pray for you every single day, though.
This is what I think about every morning when I wake up and every night when I go to bed.
Miss Tracy, I'm begging you for my life.
So am
I'm
I.
begging for my life.
You already have my whole soul, so like, you know.
You say hi to Rose. Say hi to Rose. Say hi. Say hi to Rose. You're not gonna say hi. You're not gonna talk. You're just gonna give me kisses like you're a dog. She literally gives me kisses like I'm a dog. Like she's a dog. Like I'm a dog. I got that dog in me. I feel like I understand everything better now, though. Thank you. I appreciate you.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I love that. I love you. It is your birthday month. I love you. Did I tell you happy birthday in the first one? Girl, anyway. Happy birthday again. I'm gonna tell you happy birthday in all these episodes for this one. Did I? Oh, we already recorded that one, and I didn't. Oh well, whatever.
I don't think we have anything else to say about this book / episode.
I feel like I dissociated through the whole book. That's how crazy it was.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I listened to it. I've listened to both of them. If it's a series, I have to read it the same way every book, or else I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. So,
Same.
do what you will. Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard that.
Okay, good. You got thoughts today, Kiki, huh? Huh, Kiki? Wow, you guys know. Is that all?
I think so. Thoughts on book.
Promote it. Promote it.
Us links below. Thank you.
Amazing.
There's
a podcast Instagram that I never fucking update.
Yeah, there's a podcast Instagram. Next episode.
My abandoned YouTube channel because God, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with my life anymore.
The next episode is going to be the last book in the Dark Moon Shifters series. I think it's called Unbroken. That I read forever ago. And then you get 2 more Katie Roberts after that, which I've already read and taken notes on. And they're not as good as Your Dad Will Do. Spoiler alert, they're not as funny. Not as wild.
But the cover of the Christmas one is so slay.
Yeah. They're kind of boring. They're kind of mid. They're just like, in comparison to Your Dad Will Do, they're kind of just like, they're just there.
And so does the Guardian one. Like, those are both so slay. That's so
I know, right?
sad.
I'm excited for the Guardian one. I'm intrigued to see if that one will go wild, because I'm thinking that one might go wild. But
I'm concerned about that one.
I have read the synopsis, and like, while he does become her legal guardian after her parents die, like, he just sends her away, and it's like he didn't raise her or anything, type thing. So there's nothing like that going on.
That's so kind of weird in my opinion.
Will she still call him daddy? Probably, because that's been a thing in all 3 of them. But will it take place over 1 weekend with a number of orgasms that does not make any sense? Like, I'm pretty sure in the 3rd one, somebody has to be taking a little blue pill, because I'm pretty sure that's not how male anatomy works. I'm pretty sure if you're that often during less than 48 hours, there's something going on. Go to a doctor.
Why did you censor yourself?
Because it's been a taste.
I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know at all. You know at least a little bit. I don't know what you know, but you know at least a little bit.
Yes, sadly, occasionally I make out with men. 9 years, but it used to happen on occasion.
That's crazy.
I know, right?
The last time I kissed anybody, whoa. Why does just? Oh my God, that was Anyway,
now the only man I'm here for is Cell, so you know.
You know what? That's so valid. That is so valid.
You know, I think I can come up with pretty good Welsh names. I'm pretty sure I can do it. It's fine. For, our children, someday.
My God. It's kind of crazy, though. Like, well, it's not that crazy.
Listen, there's only...
It's currently crazy.
Listen, being as I've aged once since... I think I've actually aged twice. I think I read this before my birthday of last year. Right before my birthday of last year. So I think... In my head, I'm canonically 4 years older than him, because that's how old I was when I first read it.
Oh, so it would be like... I would be great friends with Selvin. We would that's the thing. We would all have.
Also, I would let you know, if you look very closely at the Bloodmarked cover, Sel is on the cover and he has golden eyes on it.
I noticed. I've had to look at that cover extensively the last few days.
So do I, all the time. Mine has shiny. Their magic, because they have their magic stuff going on. Their magic has shiny lines in it, so it's all glittery.
That's cool. Did I?
And it looks like it moves. Also, the shading on the word Bloodmarked is different depending on what half of the cover it's on. Like blood is and part of M is shaded in blue because it's in front of Bree, but RKED is shaded in blue because that's in front of Cell.
Yeah, I think that on the listing hardback that the doodles are metallic. I'm pretty sure. I didn't make that. It's on myself. I can't see it. I mean, I can see it.
I don't know who made this cover. Okay, wait a second. I'm looking at the, Praise for Legendborn stuff at the back. One, Lee Bardugo, one of my favorite authors now.
I've never read a Lee Bardugo.
Read the Six of Crows Duology.
I have a read first, sorry. I'm so sorry to see.
But also Kirsten Wright said, Deonn is an author to watch. Jacket illustrated by Hilary Wilson and designed by Laura Ekes. I don't know how to pronounce that last name. Either way, you two geniuses, love you. Thank you for this cover. It is fucking gorgeous. The end. Thank you. Good night. Do you have anything else to say?
Did you know that I love you?
You're supposed to say no. You're not supposed to say you love me. You're supposed to say no.
I will. I just have to tell you extra because it's your birthday month. It's the birth month. I gotta make sure you know. Like, I know that you know, but I gotta make sure you know. Do you know that?
Yeah. I almost read the Morte d'Arthur on my birthday.
The fact you haven't fucking read that makes no fucking sense.
I know, right?
Say the fucking thing.
My copy has, cute art illustrations in it and everything. And it's leather bound. With gold foiling. I have a special edition. It cost me $30. But I got a special edition.
Read that shit.
Read
that shit. Yeah, you should. Vlog it. You vlog everything. Someone's gotta do it in the family.
Alright. Do you have anything else to say?
No.
Thank you.